Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you on Monday, March the 3rd, 3-3. The year's 2025. Let's talk trading. Weekly open and gap with Walmal. As always, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine and different from Walmal's. And a friendly reminder to have your risk management in place at all times. Never lose more than you're willing to lose on any one single trade. And just to let everybody know, I'm okay. I know I only put out one video last week, mainly because I was having to drive like over 100 miles almost every day last week. I had meetings up and down the I-5 corridor. And guess what? This week's no different. So you might see another video this week. I can't and won't guarantee it. So looking at the weekly chart, we can see that the pound is 114 pips above the weekly open at the moment at 126.93, or 4 pips off the high and 114 off the low. And the pound gapped up, and it has not filled that gap, along with a few other pairs that haven't filled the gap. If we take a look at the monthly, 115 pips over the monthly open, about 3 pips off the high and 115 off the low. Considering this could be considered the monthly open, now that I think about it, because March 1st was on Saturday. So this is basically monthly open too. That being said, we are putting in the opening range for the week and the opening range for the month at the same time here. And we are 153 pips above the high of the opening range for the year. And we are 184 pips above the yearly open at the moment. And we are only 21 pips off the yearly high. We broke through the high of the monthly inside. Actually, no, we broke through the low of the monthly inside bar that happened 14 months ago. And so we are inside that inside bar range. We are about 65 pips below that monthly inside bar high of 127.58. And 118 pips of range. The looks like the beast is the big mover today, the pound yen at 317 pips. The new beast, the pound New Zealand's clocking in at 182, and the euro yen's clocking in at 255. Looks like the yen getting pounded, Walmal.
Yeah, it does. I was telling you before, I believe, that the dollar was basically weaker against every single currency except for the yen.
I wonder why.
Who knows? Now I do know that part of the reason why the pound is doing well today is because apparently there's lots of hopes or whatever that there'll be some type of peace agreement in Ukraine, in the Ukraine-Russian, conflict. And I know that Zelensky and crew were over in London talking over there over the weekend. So maybe there's just some hope that this will come to an end, and that will certainly help the British currency.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, you said that the dollar was stronger against the yen, right? That was the only currency.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was early. I don't know if it's still true.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of interesting because most of the pairs, there's only 2 pairs where they're below today's open, and that's the dollar Canadian and dollar franc. Everything else is above the open.
Wow.
Now Euro GBP is only 2 pips above the open, and the Canadian Swiss Canadian dollar Swiss francs only 8 pips above the open, but everything else is pretty much above the open.
Wow.
And for the
That's
rats,
crazy.
We are in the upper rat zone, and the smart rat lines at 126.875, and original rats at 126.780. So red rats, get ready to feast. And remember, these videos for educational purposes only. Bambino Flex indicator said to go short. Price near the pivot was a short, but let's see. That really wouldn't have paid off today. The pivot was down at 125.86. I mean, the first time it hit the pivot, it rocketed up to 126.12, which, by the way, I was kicking myself because I didn't have my pending order at 126.40 launch pad. You know, if price opens below that and comes up to it, the daily open that is, and it hasn't run 100 pips, launch pad's usually in effect. And right now we are halfway between R3 and R4 on the pound. So it's definitely, this is one of those off the chart days. We took out the pivot. Yeah. So we still have 2 missed pivots open from February of this year and 2 missed pivots from November last year on the daily. We took out the weekly pivot so far, and we have a missed pivot back from February 16th. And we haven't taken out the monthly pivot, which is down at 125.13. So it's 125, 139, call it 125.14 area for the monthly pivot. In and out of that upper wick zone. So anybody trading the previous trading day's high at 126.21, you were rewarded nicely. So far, the range this week's 118, which is the 16th percentile. And we haven't broken out of the previous week's high or low yet. And last week was an outside bar, just for the heads up. Looking at the simple price action chart here, we took out the last hour high already. Oh, I was reading somewhere, and somebody was talking about the one candle trade where you just look at the candle and it's like on the pound, 95% of the time it closes above or below the H1 open. The H1 close is above or below the open. So I guess that means 5% of the time you have a doji. But it's kind of interesting that you can see there's money to be made. You just have to quote unquote guess right.
That's the problem, right?
Well, because, you put the buy zone about a 2-pip buy zone. If it goes up 2 pips from the open, you go long, and if you hedge from the beginning, and then whichever way it goes, you can either add in or let go or the other side.
Right.
What were you going to say, Walmal?
Oh, I was just agreeing with you, but yeah, the problem is, of course, guessing right, and it's difficult at the time, and then you got to work out your money management, because doing what you suggest, you just have to work the money management out so that you don't get caught.
Right.
That's and then you have to be extremely disciplined and make your decision based on whatever your rules are going to be in it, and stick to it, and know that you're going to lose sometimes, and be willing to take those losses, knowing that full well that if your management is correct, you'll go and make money in the long run.
Right.
That's the hard part. We got to be disciplined, and that not being disciplined has killed more traders than anything else. So we're running up here to the double O here on the pound. We'll see if it actually gets there or not.
Yeah.
but it's it's certainly a strong magnet. Oh my goodness. One thing I'll go and say about the market today, if you're trading today, be really careful because I've been caught a couple of times um, where it just literally in a single tick will move 2 pips, 3 pips, you know, and it's just like it'll hit you and hit you hard. So just in fact, it just did it just now. It moves a full pip in one tick, So understand that that's the type of market we're trading right now, and there's nothing wrong with that. You just got to adapt and you got to be quick, make your decisions, and don't hesitate. You know, um, and then you'll be okay. Or if you're trading differently than I am, where you're not, basically scalping, and you're looking to pick up 10, 15, 20 pips, you'll be upset that they stole a pip from you, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I was just clicking through my price turn wick zone charts. It's pretty interesting. And, I think I might have answered this question because traders always like to ask me, what method do you use? And, I usually say, well, I use horizontal line, but there's many different horizontal lines. But,
Right.
it's most of them are a combination of the wick zone and the rat zone and or the buy zone. So when you think about it, when price opens, you can play the buy zone, and when price opens, it's going to be right at the edge of a wick zone. It's not accounting for the gap, and so and then as the day moves on, you're going to get holo zones and you're going to get rat zones. So
And there goes the 2,700.
yeah, so now it'll probably go to 05 and 10. If it gets there, then maybe 25, and then it's probably good for a reversal. But we'll have to wait and see. What's really interesting? These first days of the month, first trading days, usually have big moves.
Yep. Well, it also, usually the first, well, not usually, but always just follows NFP, or if depending on like this week, NFP is going to happen at the end of this week. It's just, that number means so much to so many people out there that I think it goes and influences the market to get positions corrected.
Did you short the double O?
I did. We'll see what happens.
And you got yourself a couple of pips there.
Yep. I'm looking to get down to 96. That's where I've set my TP at. Whether
Well,
it gets there or not, I don't know.
yeah. Well, let's see. We're now up 1.47% from the year-to-date open.
There we go. I'm out.
Oh, nice. Okay. We had 467 pips of range last month versus 476 in January. And I think we had a really nice ATR move too. ATR percentage. Yeah, we had 118 in Feb and 123 in January. And so far for the month, buyers strong control. For the week, let's see, previous bar was an outside bar. And so we're still inside that upper wick zone. And on the daily, we just hit R4. Holy cow. And you know what? Fastest 15 minutes in trading is just about over. So, fellow traders, hope you had a fun and safe weekend. And I just want to remind you, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.